Undisputed versus Undisputed. Canelo versus Charlo. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to StayWeighedIn YouTube channel. I'm joined by my man Ray. How you doing?
Busy training, but we keep it moving, man. We keep it stay weighed in. How you been keeping?
I'll be honest with you, the only training I'll be doing is getting ready to play Weekend League on FIFA. EFC 24. That's all I've done for this entire week. I can't lie. That's literally all I've been doing.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
But like you said, we keep it moving. We're here for a big fight that's happening on this weekend, featuring Canelo Alvarez, the money man himself, versus Jermell Charlo. And I say that with a bit of hesitancy because of what I said in the group chat before. I didn't actually realize until a bit later that it's not Jamal Charlo, it's Jermell Charlo. First
Yeah.
question I want to ask you is, what's your view on that one guy going up two weights to make this fight?
Do you know what? If you see how they size up in comparison, is actually a suitable fight. So obviously, he's like Charlo's got the more lean frame, so I think that's why he can make 154. But he's actually taller than Canelo, and you can look at him. It's like if he fills out more, he could actually put the muscle on to fight his weight class. It's not shocking to see him there type of thing. Obviously, we'll leave this as a side note. I digress a bit, but I know like Crawford mentioned going up to 168. That's different because that's like he's coming up from welterweight, and yes, he cuts down, but he's not the biggest welterweight. Even if he was to go to 154, he wouldn't be the biggest like super welterweight either. Whereas Charlo's like he's got the frame to go up to 168. So whether he can beat Canelo is one thing. Staying at 168 might be a bit dangerous, but we'll see.
I was gonna say the next thing for me is because he's moving up two divisions, instead of cutting weight, how do you think his training will feel and his training camp for this particular fight? Because, like you said, at 154, you're cutting. At 168, what we're looking at in terms of a cutting period, leaning up? How do you think Charlo's going to go into this particular fight in terms of?
He must be loving it. What? I get to train. I don't have to diet. Well, obviously, you got to keep it healthy, but you don't have to diet in terms of cutting down. And you're probably going to get put on a bit of muscle and cut down not as much as before. You're probably like dreading weigh-in day when you just go in there and then you just look bare, gaunt, and you don't have water. But this time it's like, cool, I can go into the weigh-in. You probably certain people when you go up in weight and you fight nearer your natural actual walking around weight, man, you're getting into that weigh-in. Like your nutritionist might have you like we've got some fruits in hand. You're just waiting to weigh in. Like I'm sure he must be loving it. And if he manages to pull off the upset, he's probably thinking to himself, why would I ever go down to 154 again? And maybe he might be tempted by Crawford, but there's no need for that if he beats Charlo.
Even Canelo.
If he beats Canelo, yeah, it's been a long day.
I mean, in between that, you do have his big brother just sitting at 160. So, in terms of this whole dynamic, because obviously you also got Spence, and like we've talked about before, the little band brothers there, the whole idea of moving up collectively together. If he was to ever complete this upset, what do you think Charlo's future will look going forward? Would he want to settle at 168 if he can do the impossible? Would he want to go to 160? What would you say would be the next thing for Charlo then?
This is where it's funny. I think he would probably beat Canelo again. Well, he would have to face Canelo again in a rematch, which would mean more money. If he basically done the Leon Edwards and is able to upset Canelo twice, the same way Leon beat Usman twice in a row, then he would probably go down to 160. Because if you can then say, I am a 3-time undisputed champion, wow. That's what's on the line for Charlo. Like, if I'm him, it depends how much you fill out. I don't think 168. I don't know how much. It all depends on his walking around weight because he might go to 168 and just be like, do you know what? I don't have to cut. Like, I was even listening to Joe Rogan's podcast the other day, and obviously it's a different combat sport, but he had Kurt Angle on, and then they were talking about his success and everything during his amateur wrestling days. And then they asked him, like, how did you, like, what weight class was you in? And then I think he just always used to fight at his natural weight. He goes, he never cut weight. He'd rather fight at a higher weight class, because his thing was always, I don't want to lead up to a competition and have to cut weight. I want to focus on training, getting in the best condition I can. And, you know, there's, for a lot of fighters, it works for them. I think it gets tricky for some where, you know, there's some people in your weight class that cut so much weight that it's just like, if I stay here, I'm going to get bullied around. Hence why some people drop down as well. But for other people, they just have the perfect frame for, I don't have to cut too much. This is me. I'm fine at my natural weight class. Even you can, funnily enough, say that a bit like Canelo with 168. He's not the most biggest 168 guy, but he packs a punch, and he's like taking his time to put on weight at that weight class. So now he looks comfortable. He doesn't look too crazy at the weigh-in. And yeah, he's moving like Kurt Angle, who won an Olympic gold medal with a broken freaking neck.
So I was going to say to you then, in terms of if you're working percentages, then what percentage of a chance do you give Jermell Charlo to pull off the upset? Because for me, he's fighting the best at 168 that I've ever seen. So how much of a chance do you give this guy going up 2 weight classes officially, regardless of whether he's filling out whatever it is? Technically, he's going up 2 weight classes to fight the best and arguably the second biggest cash cow alongside Terence Crawford in boxing right now.
This is going to sound crazy. I was going to say 50-50, but let me give Canelo a bit more respect. But I'm giving Charlo minimum 45% chance of winning.
That's too high for me. I think based
only because you have to factor in. Do you know what you have to factor in? He is, you could say, coming into physical prime. Secondly, you get to now put on weight instead of having to cut down all the time. And thirdly, Canelo is in the twilight of his career, and he might just be on a Mayweather thing where it's just like, my twilight of my career is still better than a lot of you lot's prime. I'm still giving Canelo the favoritism to win, but listen, man, that guy has been pro more than half his life. He's like, what, over 32 now? He's been pro since 16. The wear and tear on the body can only be for so long, especially the way that Canelo fights as well. It's just like there's not too much left in terms of getting, you know, optimum performance from that kit. Do you get what I'm saying? So Charlo might just come in at the right time, shock the world. But if I was Charlo, if you win those belts, stay away from Benavidez.
I was going to say, my next thing is, you talked about, obviously, Canelo in his twilight. This is what I'll say. When you get hit by somebody at 168, it hurts a lot different. And then body shots, Canelo's knocked out bigger men or more filled out men than Jermell Charlo for me.
Pause, yeah.
But sticking with Charlo then, because I want to more lean on this, because obviously he's doing something. Canelo is Canelo, and we can touch on later. In this particular fight, yeah, he might be going naturally in terms of his own weight. Do you think that could potentially be a disadvantage factor in terms of losing a little bit of sharpness and stuff, because he is going to be packing on a bit more of his natural weight rather than his cutting weight going into this fight?
Everything just depends on how you do it. You just got to have the right team. For some people, it works out, depending on how long he's known the news of moving up in weight as well. Because you got to remember, when these fights are announced, sometimes to us it's like, oh, right, this is new. And then for some people, it's just like, I've been known for time and I've been like in the process of this. I am trying to think. There is someone, but it's not coming to mind, where they moved up and it was successful. And it was also because it's like, yeah, you just fight near your more natural weight class. I can't, maybe Demetrius Johnson, who was who I'm thinking of, where in obviously one, they have like different rule set for weights. So there's some people where it's just like optimum weight class is just for them. And it's like, I don't need to cut too much. My frame is good for this weight class. Because to digress a bit again, I remember Mayweather made a point on Errol Spence, and he goes, honestly, Spence should be at 160. And when he said that, I was thinking to myself, do you know what? he might have a point. He might actually have a point because Spence admittedly spent way too long at 147, but obviously wanted to be great and unify. And it was just like, brother, you've been at this weight class for plus 10 years. There is no reason why it should be there. 154 minimum. And even at 154, he might just go there and still be more weight drained and realize 160. But the only issue is if you go to 160, then you're going to be facing guys that are cutting more weight to get there. So there's always the give and take. But like I said, it depends on your frame. Spence might go to 154 and be like, do you know what? The weight cut is not as drastic. And I feel like I still feel good. I think, that's who I was thinking of as well. Even though he still cuts quite a bit of weight. Like someone like Dustin Poirier in MMA, in the UFC side of things. I remember Dustin Poirier was at 145 for a while. And then I remember one of my old coaches used to train American Top Team, and he was saying like Poirier was basically dieting year round to stay around 150, 45 weight. And it's like, that's not healthy to do that. And then when he got to 155, way more success. So that might be the same thing with Spence. He goes 155, and the same thing with Charlo. He might go 168, even though he skipped 160. He might go 168 and be like, cool, I'm comfortable. And he might just do it just for Canelo. He might just fight Canelo there, get the big money payday, look at the rest of the people 168 and think, risk first reward. Styles make fights. Why would he fight Benavidez? Brother, vacate the belts. Let Jermell Charlo go up to 168.
You're talking like vacate the belts like he's job done already.
No, I'm saying if he can pull it off, yeah, vacate them obviously. But he also knows if he pulls off that rematch is going to be big money. But if wishes were fishes, that's what we're doing right now.
Let's talk about Canelo then, because for me, I've not gone into a Canelo fight personally thinking someone can beat him. The fact that we're having a conversation here where you've given somebody 45% chance moving up 2 weight classes, albeit he fills out more pause and stuff like that. What are we saying about Canelo then right now? I know you mentioned the twilight of his career, but how much of a twilight are we looking at where somebody who's coming up 2 divisions has, in your eyes, a potential 45% chance of creating the upset?
Nah, that man is slow. Even like, I won't count the Bivol fight because I think that was just a case of everyone underestimated Bivol and they just got their comeuppance. But what Ryder fight? He's still. Do you know what's crazy? It's like I was saying before. Canelo's twilight has still been a lot of people's prime because his fight with Ryder, it wasn't like he was dull. He just wasn't as sharp as he usually is. He didn't get the knockout everyone expected him to get a knockout. And it's also a case of people didn't respect Ryder, so they didn't expect Ryder to go in there and put up the fight that he did. And obviously Canelo got caught in that fight as well, which goes back to the whole thing about being in the twilight. But in all honesty, Canelo is in a space where if he gets through this deal with PBC right now, I think it's a 3-fight deal. I'd want him to retire.
I was going to say that's my next point.
Yeah.
Because we've seen him fight the top guys at light heavyweight and we saw what happened there. Even though I will still say this, if they fight again, I'll still put my money on Canelo because that's my guy. I can't not bet against Canelo. But for him, what more is there actually to achieve in boxing? Because you put Triple G to one side, fight 1, okay, some people have it. Fight 2, Canelo wins. Fight 3 is a domination. Like, that's a clear landslide. So you put that chapter to one side, that's closed. You've got all the belts at 168. If you defend this, I think you're going to defend the titles the most ever at 168. What more are you looking at in your career to be like, oh, there's motivation for me to do anything? Like, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. Like, what more can Canelo do at this point?
Where it gets tricky? Because for some people, it's not just about the whole thing of like, let me just walk away from boxing, my record intact. It's the feeling of, I can't imagine. I remember the feeling when I fought my first semi-pro fight. I won in 1 minute 30.
Jeez.
That
feeling,
that adrenaline running through me, once I won was like, if they could put that in a drug, I'd overdose because that feeling was euphoric. So I can't imagine how it is to be in front of like 60,000 people, 50,000, like when he does the Cowboy Stadium or if he does the packed Las Vegas arena. It's hard to walk away from that adulation. So then now it comes to the thing of, is it a case of the Lennox Lewis thing where it's just like Lennox beat the former generation, he beat everyone in his generation, and then he beat the future generation when he beat Fatali. However, the asterisk is that fight was very close, obviously. So I don't know whether for Canelo it will take him to be in a close fight like that where there's a scare where it's just like, do you know what? Let me get out now because it could be. Because obviously, I think for me, if we can face Benavidez and beat him, after that, brother, take it easy fight and retire on top because there's one person at super middleweight that's coming through that I'm sure Canelo will avoid, or his team will avoid him. High risk, low reward, and that's a guy called David Morrell Jr., a Cuban guy. Very slick, on the come up, hasn't got as much wear and tear on the body. And this guy is one of those people where it's like, if you stick around for too long, if there's anyone to beat him, that'll be the guy to beat him at super middleweight if Benavidez doesn't do it. So,
do you know, I'm going to put it out there. Canelo, your final fight, if you want a big payday, fight whoever you want, bring it to England, and we will pay whatever you want for them tickets. I am telling you right now. I will sell my car to be in London front row. I'm not talking about them fake front rows.
You're paying the thousands.
Listen, I'm talking where the camera is there. I'm talking where I will see the promoters there. Everybody in the top tiers. I'm coming up in a suit and everything because I have to sit there watch Canelo front row. If you want payday, bring it to the UK.
Payday.
But
listen, it's done. I'm telling you. Do you know what it is? Yeah. When it comes to like the whole payday situation with coming to the UK, is not happening.
No.
And the reason why I say it's not, if it was ever going to happen, it was going to be the Ryder fight. And I think that's what a lot of people thought. A lot of people thought the Ryder fight was going to be the one where it's like, all right, cool, he's moving up. However, because he went Mexico for that one, listen, man, we ain't getting that Ryder fight. I just want everyone to know that. I said we're not getting that UK fight. We're not
realistically getting it. But I want to stay on the UK topic of this as well because we were touching this beforehand before we wrap up and get predictions. This fight, as much as it is as big as it is and glamorous as it is, it feels quietly promoted because to this day, it's probably going to be on Fight TV. I can't fully 100% say where it is. It's not on BT. It's not on the Sky box office. It's not on anywhere. Why is it that we struggle to get PBC fights that are on in America quite comfortably on their Showtime networks? And why is it that we struggle to get any broadcaster to take them on here? Because at the end of the day, the biggest star is Canelo outside of Crawford. So I don't understand why they don't get them out here.
The UK just has this weird thing. But oh no, the funny thing is, what channel was Crawford versus Spence on?
BT box office.
Yeah, BT/TNT.
Yeah.
So we was just discussing about the fact that.
Yeah, they did actually. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's just so weird. I don't know. This PBC is almost like they always have an issue with UK broadcasting. Where do tank fights get shown on?
They're not.
That's crazy. Oh, actually, no. Before it was UK wise, it was on DAZN actually.
Yeah,
but the tank before. No, yeah, Garcia and Davis here was obviously shown on DAZN, but Tank against Hector Garcia. I don't know if that was shown in the UK. Maybe that was Fight TV, but I remember, like I was saying to you, like pre-recording, I remember when PBC used to be on ITV back in the day. I remember 2019. I haven't watched it. Shout out my boy Dan. It was his birthday. And then I remember like we was up late watching the Spence versus Sean Porter fight on ITV. Yeah, PBC's just always had this strange relationship with their shows in the UK, and it's annoying because they've got a lot of like top quality cards. So I don't know the whole UK thing. I think that's why the Canelo versus Charlo thing felt flat here, because there ain't been no UK broadcast or big UK broadcaster that's like promoting it like that. I don't know why TNT's not jumping on it. Sky Sports, I kind of understand, even though every now and then Sky Sports do take on the one-off pay-per-views, but I'm sure Top Rank probably said, nah, we've got the
I was gonna say, if you
we've
look
got the
at
UK block right now.
when they show their fights on Sky, they're always for free. So I don't
Yeah.
think Sky's only real pay-per-view now is anything associated with Boxer where they can put it on. You don't really see anything else. Like, for example, like I said, let's say Shakur versus Loma. If that happens, that would be shown for free.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be on pay-per-view. It might be
pay-per-view,
it'd be here for free. But yeah, like I said, for me, I always see PBC. I see their production as the best, and I'm like, yo, I'm there short time PBC. I'm always watching time.
Yeah.
It is a shame that I can't be doing fight TV. Like, I don't even know where I find fight TV on my TV. Like, is that up for it or what? What am I saying?
Let me tell you something. Let me not bail what I've got right now. Shout out the Fire Stick crew. Nah, we need a proper distribution for it. And shout out Fire TV, because obviously someone has to do it. So Fire TV, for me, PBC should just do a deal with the Zone. I don't know what their beef is with the Zone. They need to drop it, let it go, and just start showing fights on the Zone, UK wise or worldwide wise. Because I honestly think that is the best way to do it. If you're not going to do it with the other big major TV broadcasters, give it to the Zone. Like, stop acting weird. Like,
because Canelo, when he was
enough,
he was always on the Zone, and I tell you now, when he was up and fighting, I was subscribing because I was like, I've got a reason to subscribe for this. But before we wrap up, I guess I gotta go with it. You gave him 45% chance, but here's your official prediction. What are we gonna see Saturday night?
I'm leaning towards Canelo, but if Charlo pulls it off, don't be surprised.
That's quick. If Charlo pulls it off, I'll be surprised. This is gonna be like my guy. Just it'd be painful to see Canelo lose again. So I can't physically imagine Canelo losing myself again.
Listen, man, it's going to. I just saw David Morrell. I've done my Googles real quick. My man's 25. Brother, gold medalist, Youth World Championships. Listen, man, stay away from that guy. If Canelo's smart, he stays away from that guy. Face Benavidez now if he goes through Charlo, and then I don't know who else is left. He might face Jermell on the way out. Just to beat up both brothers. But I think Caleb Plant also wants that Jermell fight, so I don't know what's going to happen. But either way, maybe beat up both brothers and Benavidez and call it a day, but we shall see. But this fight, I'm intrigued because, like I said, I think I'm more intrigued because of where Canelo is in his career now. If it wasn't for that, if this was like the run when he was taking out all the other champions, I'd say I'm not betting against him. But now,
I think you nailed it there. I'm less excited, just more intrigued about how this fight plays out. But with that, we are going to wrap up today's episode. As always, drop a like, share, subscribe. Stay weighed in. We'll be back recapping what we see Saturday night. Until next time, peace.
Peace.